Hi guys, welcome to my channel and my video. Now, one question I get asked quite a bit, both in live streams and in comments on other videos I've done, is just how did I get into pole fitness or pole dancing? And it's something I keep saying I will need to answer in a video today. Now, here is that video. If you are a regular viewer of my channel, you probably know by now that I have a history of eating disorders. If you're new to my channel, now you know I have a history of eating disorders. So my issues with food began in my late teens, and I never really got that unwell. I didn't have to go in and out of hospital, things like that. I managed to complete school, didn't go to uni, but went straight into work, have been able to hold down jobs, that kind of thing. But it was always there. It was a big part of my life and it really did impact on me. So fast forward from my late teens through towards my mid-20s, and I was finally beginning to recover from the eating disorder. Now, this happened quite slowly and over a long period of time, and mostly it was just self-driven. I don't want this to be a video about my eating disorder and the recovery process, so that's why I'm trying to keep it vague and short and just give you the information you know for the next bit to make sense. So, I have always loved to dance. I've been a dancer since I could walk. My parents tell me that when I was just able to walk and I was still in nappies, every time they walked past a shop playing music, I would stop and I would start to dance and they would literally have to drag me away. I started doing classical ballet at the age of 4 and finished doing classical ballet at the age of 14. I've also done a bit of salsa. I tried tap. I was utterly hopeless at it. So dance has always been something I love and it's been a big part of my life. I was at the point in my recovery where I wasn't fully recovered, but I was on the way. There was a lot in magazines and on telly, features about pole fitness for fitness, and I thought it looked really fun. And I went on YouTube and found videos of women pole dancing, and the stuff they could do was just amazing. And I just thought, I really, really want to try that. So I searched in my local area and I found a Glasgow-based pole school called Heavenly Pole, and I paid for a month of classes and I went there for my very first session completely by myself. I later found out that the two instructors thought I might work as a stripper because when I turned up, I did have a pair of platform pole shoes, and I was also, I picked the moves up really quickly. But no, I've never been a stripper. I never would be a stripper. I don't have the assets for it, and I'm a bit old, guys, a bit old for that. But nothing against anyone who is. Your body, your life, your choice. It was a really, really big deal to go myself, but I didn't know anyone else who might be interested in going. Most of the others who attended the class, we were all beginners. It was all our first time, but they were in groups of 2 or more. I was the only person that was by myself, but I absolutely fell in love with it. Now, at that very first class, there was a girl who was extremely thin. I've no idea if she had an eating disorder or not. She was just extremely thin, to the point that when she was trying to do certain moves on the pole, she really struggled because you need muscles to grip the metal. And if you are too thin, you just don't have the muscles there to do it. So you can't do the moves. And I realized very, very quickly that if I wanted to be able to do the amazing things that I saw the instructors doing, I was going to have to nourish my body properly. That was the push that I needed to get me over the line in terms of recovery. And when I started pole dancing, my legs have always been really strong because years of ballet will do that. But my upper body strength, pathetic. But through pole fitness, I became really flexible. I was able to do the splits. Can't do them again yet. Trying. Not practicing the stretches as much as I need to, but hoping I will get there. I built my upper body strength up really, really quickly. Pole fitness is a full body workout. I had a six-pack and I didn't even know it. It was only when one of my friends pointed out in a photo, "God, Kaz, look at your abs." I was like, wow, I didn't even notice. It's fun. It gives you body confidence. You don't have to do the dancing. You don't have to make it sexy if you don't want to. If all you want to do is the tricks, that is absolutely fine. I kept going to classes, didn't tell my parents I was doing it because I tried to broach the subject with my mum and her reaction was, "Oh, you can't do that. You know where that'll lead," which is a really narrow-minded view. And believe me, my parents do not think like that at all anymore. But at the time they did. So I was doing all this in secret. I can't remember what type of dance class. I think I told my parents I was doing, modern dance, jazz dance, something like that anyway. I did it for a couple of months and I loved it so much. I wanted to get my own pole. So I got this X pole, very first edition, probably completely obsolete now, but it does the job still, and it was expensive. I think they cost about £100, maybe it was £200. It was something like that anyway. But it meant that I could practice whenever I wanted. And of course, I did have to tell my parents what I was doing eventually. I injured myself. I actually had repetitive strain in my ribs and I should have stopped and I should have rested, and I didn't. I pushed through and I actually tore an intercostal muscle, and it's the most painful injury I have ever had in my life, and I couldn't pole dance for weeks. It was horrible. Thankfully, it did heal and I was able to get back into pole dancing. Hadn't lost any strength or anything like that, which was great. I ended up entering and winning the Scottish Amateur Pole Dancing Championships. And then there was a national competition called Pole Divas. I entered that. I won the Scottish Advanced Amateur Heat and got through to the final, but they wiped the floor with me in that. I had by that stage been doing pole for about 8 months, and that was the minimum length of time you could have been doing it for to enter the advanced amateur category. Lots of the girls I was up against were far more experienced, much stronger, much better. They could do tricks I couldn't even begin to attempt because I just did not have that skill. Despite that, I'm really glad I did it, and it was amazing fun. I ended up teaching pole because one of the instructors of Heavenly Pole had to leave, and so I was asked if I would step into her pole shoes, so to speak, and take some of the classes, which I was more than happy to do. I absolutely loved teaching pole. I loved seeing women come in and then watching their confidence blossom. And I know I mentioned it in a live stream chat, but I'm going to say it again here for those who haven't watched the replay or weren't present at the time. One of my students who came was really shy at first, but she got herself to the stage where she entered a competition, and honestly, I almost, in fact, I think I did cry. I was so effing proud of her. To think that when she first came to class, she was really shy, and then here she was strutting her stuff in front of people in a competition. And I guess that's really what it was about for me as well. It wasn't just about being fit and having fun. It was about getting confidence, especially body confidence. Anyone can do pole fitness. You can be male, you can be female, you can be any size. Literally does not matter. And you don't have to be able to dance. You can learn that part of it. And if it's not something you're comfortable with, or it doesn't come naturally, you don't need to push it, because there are people who just do the tricks. There are people who do more dancing than tricks. There are people like myself who do a mix of both, although at the moment, because I'm just getting back into it, I am much more dance heavy. But that's probably a good thing, because that is an area I probably need to work on a bit more. So I did pole dancing and taught it, and then I was in a relationship, and so I gave up pole teaching because it wasn't long distance. He was in Edinburgh, I was in the Glasgow area, but he had kids. I always had to go to him, and it was normally always on a weekend, and a weekend is when I taught classes, so I couldn't spend as much time with him. So I picked him over the pole, which, looking back, I made the wrong choice, but at the time I didn't know that. The relationship broke up, I got ill with some viral infections, and my eating disorder resurfaced, and I relapsed badly, and I did have to make a choice between the eating disorder and the pole, and I chose the eating disorder. And so I lost most of my strength and didn't pole dance for a very long time. But here I am once again in the same stage of recovery that I was at the first time I started pole dancing. I'm not fully recovered, I'm on the way, and I've got it back out, and I'm working on choreographing routines. I would love to be able to put a routine at the end of this video, but I haven't got one fully choreographed yet. I am hoping to do more videos where I will be showing off different styles of my version of pole dancing. And I do like to choreograph a routine. For me, that is great fun. So I've got several songs picked out, I've got outfits picked out. I just need to practice and get the strength and the skill to do the routines. I do need to be careful, because I have had a muscle strain in exactly the same place, and it does hurt if I do it too much. So I have to really pace myself. My body is older, and it's not putting up with as much punishment as it did when I was younger. But yeah, that's basically the story of how I got into pole fitness, and I absolutely love it. I would also love to do a Q&A about pole fitness and pole dancing, where you can ask the questions that you really want to ask, and I will answer them. It will be from my experience and my opinion, so not everyone will necessarily agree, and that's absolutely fine. You can disagree with me, just please be polite and respectful, not just towards me, but towards each other in the comments. I think I've probably talked for quite long enough. My iPad is telling me this video is now 17 minutes long, so you'll get an idea of how much I've edited out by whatever the final length ends up being. But yeah, I don't mind if you call it pole fitness or pole dancing. I actually usually call it pole dancing. I'm aware in this video I've said pole fitness a lot. The reason for that is because I'm emphasizing the point that you don't need to be able to dance to do it, because I think that can put a lot of people off, because they think I can't dance, or I don't like dancing, therefore I won't like that. Not at all. But for me, it's the whole creative process, the choreography and the dancing that I really do enjoy. So thank you for watching. Drop me any questions in the comments box below, and I hope to see you back here for the next video. Ciao.